before I start going over what I didn't find KetoCon worth going to, I want to go over the things I did like about KetoCon. If you don't know what KetoCon is a 3-day convention held in Austin, Texas, where they have a bunch of speakers presenting about keto topics, and they also have cooking demos, and they also have a bunch of keto booths with keto brands sharing free samples and also selling some product. A single day ticket cost you about like $150, and a 3-day ticket cost you about $300. So I bought my ticket during an early bird promotion, and I got the tickets for $100 in 2019. So I'm referring to everything in 2019 because 2020 got canceled because of the pandemic, and 2021 I was pregnant, and I don't even know if they had a KetoCon at that time. And then 2022 I definitely didn't go to it. So everything I'm talking about is just in reference to the 2019 KetoCon. So originally I was supposed to go with one of my best friends, but she ended up backing out. Luckily, she let me give away her tickets, so I was able to give it to one of my Instagram followers who ended up being my buddy throughout the whole trip. And I really appreciate her because I would have been so lonely if it wasn't for her. So as far as the things I did like, I liked that I met my internet friends in real life. It was nice to finally be able to put a face to the profile of the person that I've been talking to online for the past year. Also, it was pretty freaking cool to actually meet some of the keto bloggers whose recipes I've made and have helped me to stay on track on keto, such as Maria Emmerich from Maria Emmerich, and Caroline Ketchum from All I Do Is Dream About Food, and Kendra Holly from Peace, Love, and Low Carb. Also, I did enjoy some of the speeches that were held at the conference. I already knew most of the stuff anyways, but it was nice to like kind of rehear the information, kind of like drill it into your brain that you should be chewing your food and not drinking your calories.
Delicious. And when you drink your calories, they're so quickly absorbed into the bloodstream, and it's not very satiating. When you chew your food, it registers different hormones and signals in your brain to tell you that you're satisfied. If you put enough fat on white rice, you will reach ketosis. Is it healthy? No.
And just like little stuff like that. Also, I liked that I had a reason to visit Texas. I've never visited Texas before, and I really liked that I was able to experience Austin's nightlife, and I was able to try out their barbecue, which is something I'm pretty sure Texas is known for, or maybe just Austin, but it was nice to actually try it, and it was pretty good, and also keto. And lastly, I did like that I was able to finally try a bunch of the keto brands that I've seen online. You know, trying to buy something that you see online is always a hit or miss because you never know if you're really gonna like it, and if you don't like it, you're stuck with a package of 12 bars that you're probably too lazy to return and are probably just gonna collect dust. So that was nice. A lot of it was free, and they also gave you a lot of samples to take home if you wanted to. Alright, so why didn't I find it worth it? Well, first, and I think the main thing is just gonna be the price. I know I got the tickets for $100, but I'm from California and the event was in Texas, and I tend to procrastinate, so my round trip ticket cost about $500 for 3 days. That, along with a $200 Airbnb, $100 for the tickets, and then maybe $150 for like eating and drinking while I was out there, it almost came out to $1,000. I could have done a lot of stuff with $1,000. I mean, no offense to the event itself. Like I said, I did enjoy it. I don't know if it was $1,000 worth it, if you know what I mean. So that's really my main reason why I didn't find it worth it. And so for the other things, I know I said that I did like the fact that there were free samples there to try. I want to say about 75% of the samples at the keto booth were all desserts or sweets. Even though I was able to take a bunch of samples home, the samples that I was able to take home were a lot of shakes, which I really didn't care for shakes, just because when I see brand advertising a keto meal replacement shake, I totally understand why some people need that in their life because it helps them adhere to the keto diet a little bit better. But I find it funny how like the speakers at the event kind of give you contradicting information because they encourage you to like chew your food and not to drink your calories and to stick to real food. And then you get these companies outside saying, hey, take our keto shakes or our meal replacement shake. And it just gives me Herbalife vibes basically. And I didn't care for that. And after trying a bunch of keto samples from KetoCon, all I did was get a stomach ache and felt nauseous. And by the end of it, I ended up with a pimple on my chin, which was not great. I had to do all that because I didn't drive to the event, so all I had was an Uber to get me straight to the event. I had to resort to everything that was at the convention, and at the convention all they had was a tiny little kitchen at the corner where you could actually buy food, but the food there was so overpriced. It was like $10 for a plate of something that I didn't even know what it was, so I didn't even bother buying it. I ended up just purchasing a water bottle from there that cost $4.50. I didn't have to buy the water bottle, but one, I drink a lot of water, and two, going to the drinking fountain every time to try to wash away the taste of a nasty tasting keto product was not fun. So by getting the water bottle, I was able to actually just fill that up and keep on reusing it. But besides that, all the samples that I got from the event, I didn't even touch when I got home. A lot of it went to waste, unfortunately, just because it didn't seem very appealing or, interesting to eat afterwards. It just didn't really care for it. But also, aside from that, KetoCon has like a list of like keto approved ingredients and ingredients that are banned from being able to be sold at KetoCon. But just because they have a list like that doesn't mean that they didn't let sketchy brands in. There was this one brand that I remember that was super sketchy, and I was like, how did they get in here? And it was called Keto Below 6. The product itself was $56, and it claims that it can quickly get you into fat burning ketosis, and that all you have to do is take it right before you eat a carby or sweet dessert, and it would still allow you to stay in ketosis despite all that. So you have a more flexible way of eating, which, come on, let's be real. Like, that kind of product is just messing with you. Like, there's products out there that can make you stay in ketosis despite you eating carbs. I think at that point you should have just let Prove It into the doors, because it does the exact same thing. So I thought that was really sketch, and I was just like, you must have paid really big money to get into this convention, because not only did they have a big old booth, they were also at the end of the aisle, so they were in front display to everybody. And another product that comes to mind, it might be a little bit controversial just because a lot of people in the keto community were affiliated with this product. I'm talking about Keto Beam. Now that I think about it, I haven't seen anybody actually really mention that product in a long time, but Keto Beam is supposed to be this electrolyte drink that it touts itself as being better than a powder because it's bioavailable right away. And basically they give you these two big old jugs that are like supposedly a 2-month supply, and it costs you $80. If you go to their page, they give you all the details as to what it does and all these words that to me doesn't make sense. Like, I guess it's doing all that. It tastes just like water. It looks a little funky, but I don't know. I just think they're really sketchy. I don't need to pay $80 for electrolytes. I actually signed up for the raffle just to see if I could win some of the product, to see what all the hubbub was about, because I was not willing to pay $80 for it. And surprisingly enough, I did win. And when I actually tried the product, I felt no different. I didn't feel energetic. I didn't feel anything. To me, I was like, I guess it's working. I don't get cramps. I know a lot of people use that product to avoid the keto flu, because a key element of avoiding the keto flu is to properly hydrate yourself with electrolyte. And I guess it did its job. I just can't justify the price. And I guess maybe that's why I call it sketchy, but that's just me. But also another reason why I do find it kind of sketchy is because it has products like this. It's called Instalights. And it's claiming that if you have cramps or you have any aches, you can just spray yourself and it will recharge you with electrolytes. Now tell me that doesn't sound scammy. BFFR. Be for real. I don't know. The reviews on their website say that people like it, that they felt a difference. It could be a placebo effect, but it could also be people's real life experiences. I don't know. What do I know? I'm just a person on the internet. And lastly, the last reason why I didn't find KetoCon worth it, and this might be just me nitpicking at this point, and it's probably just something that I probably noticed, was just that the vibes felt off. And I know that sounds very corny to say, but honestly, going in as a keto influencer, I kind of felt like it was a popularity contest. I did see a few influencers there that did seem a little bit standoffish. And I mean, it could also be just because they have RBF, which I totally have. I have a resting face. So it could just be that. Also, I personally didn't experience this, but I do know of some influencers with a smaller following that felt like they were treated poorly by brands once they found out how many followers they had, which I think is pretty shitty because it makes you feel like it's all a popularity contest. And I would say that I kind of felt like the opposite of that. I noticed that as soon as brands found out how many followers I had, that they started being extra nice to me and giving me more free product, which is nice, but it's just like, it just gives me a weird feeling. It felt yucky and I didn't like it. So in the end, I don't regret that I went. It was a nice experience. I am happy to say that I have gone to KetoCon, but I personally wouldn't do it again. It's more of a one and done type of thing for me. I'm a mother now, so it's not like I can just drop $1,000 and go to Texas for a 3-day event anymore. Not that I should have to begin with. Personally, it did nothing to motivate me to stay on keto. It was just re-listening to stuff that I already knew, maybe finding out a few stuff that I didn't know. But I would say that if you're in the area and you're kind of new to keto and you want to check it out, by all means go for it, especially if you can snag like a early bird ticket for $100 like I did. But be weary of the products that they sell there. Most of the stuff is not necessary. If anything, try to go for the speeches, which doesn't seem very appealing to you when you walk in because you see all the booths out there and that's where you would want to spend the majority of your time. But if you're new to keto, I would strongly suggest you watch the speeches because they're very informative. I feel they're more likely to direct you in the right ways of doing keto. If you just go for the keto booths, honestly, you're just gonna end up hungrier, end up being misled as to what keto actually does for you as a diet. And yeah, that's it. Let me know if you've been to KetoCon. Let me know what your experience was like, and let me know if you would go again. And also let me know how much you spent because I'm curious about that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!